Welcome back, travelers, to Legendary Lore. I'm here with my Onaki co-host, Joe. Joe, say hello.
I'm ready to... What?
The Onaki. Onaki. The
That
Onaki
could be the reference to what we're going to go into?
Yes, it is.
Okay, I'm ready.
After Vraska warns Jace that, hey, there's some terrible things going on outside of Ravnica, and some terrible things are going to come to Ravnica, and you're not going to be able to deal with it because you're not a native of Ravnica, and all that other stuff, Jace is like, you know what? Vraska might have been right. I should probably look into this. And so he looks into Garruk and like what's happening to him, because Garruk is like killing people. Because Vraska was telling him basically, I didn't really go into depth on it, but Vraska told him that, in the last episode I didn't go in depth because I was going to explain here. Vraska tells Jace that Garruk is serial killing planeswalkers. And it's like, that's not good. We should stop that from happening. And so Jace is trying to figure out what's happening to Garruk because they're old friends. And so Jace goes to Chandalar, to an Onaki temple. The Onaki were an ancient race of ogres that were incredibly powerful artificers and that now inhabit a mysterious artifact known as the Chain Veil. He finds out that Garruk is cursed by the Chain Veil and that one person in the past had also been cursed, a demon planeswalker by the name of Ob-Nixilis. He also discovers that Ob-Nixilis is trapped on the plane of Zendikar because there's a Hedron shoved into his head. In his creature artwork, you can actually see Ob-Nixilis has the thing. And he learns about Nahiri being the one that did it. Or I think at that point, she's still called the Lithomancer. Don't quite remember her being named yet. The important thing is that Jace goes and he actually removes the Hedron from Ob-Nixilis' head. So once Jace has that Hedron, after removing it from Ob-Nixilis, who's like, he's defeated, and then Jace takes it out and he's like, you wanted to take this out of my head?
It's like, we fought. It's like, yeah, I don't know why you did that.
I want that out of my head. Thank you, I guess. So Jace goes back to Chandalar. He's preparing for Garruk. He actually is able to defeat Garruk. They destroy the temple they're in. All that stuff happens. Jace puts the Hedron in Garruk. I think it's in his chest. And he stops the curse, right?
Uh-huh.
And so Jace is like, okay, I don't know if that worked though. So I need to make sure that he's ready for, like if he's ready to go back into society. Like, is he okay? I need to know if he's okay. He's my friend. So Jace shows up as Liliana. You good, Joe? Jace shows up as Liliana. And he's like, I look good. And so he goes over and he goes to Garruk and he goes, hey, Garruk, I'm sorry about what I did. I'm sorry I cursed you. Hope you're feeling better.
To see if he would like trigger rage or something.
For what?
To see if he would like trigger rage being Liliana.
Pretty much. Or like what exactly was going to happen. And Garruk just looks at Jace dead in the eye. And he says that he wants to be left alone. And that he actually enjoys killing people. Because they're much more entertaining prey.
Than beasts.
So that was the whole time when Garruk was like solid green black. And so that was like Jason's like interaction. He's like, so I'm out. And Garruk even told him, you're my friend. I'm not going to kill you this time. Meet me again. I'll murder you without hesitation. While that's happening,
Fun. You will be easy to kill.
Yeah.
Get your tattooed pelt as a rug on my floor.
So while that's happening, Jace goes back to being the Living Guild Pact because he obviously doesn't want what happened to the Consortium to happen to the Guild Pact and have the entirety of the plane fall into disarray as opposed to just that organization. He has a bit more, I guess you could say, responsibility. He's a more responsible individual, right? Well, while he's there, Raoul shows up and he's like, hey, buddy. And Jason's like, I'm not your buddy, pal. And he goes, well, I'm not your pal, friend. And what winds up happening is there's a person named Marie. Chamberlain Marie is about to expose the existence of planeswalkers to the entirety of Ravnica. Because there's a thing called Project Lightning Bug that is able to actually track down these special signatures that Marie can't quite understand. And notices that Ral is one of them, whatever it is. And so with Jace's help, they deal with that, and they're able to distract Nimazet from all of that. And they discover another planeswalker living in Ravnica. A beefcake of a planeswalker who's working with the Boros legions. It's Gideon. Yeah! So, while that's all happening, Gideon, Jace discovers, is basically fighting two wars at once. He's working with the Boros legionnaires, trying to keep everything going and running smooth. And then he goes to Zendikar and he tries to save entire settlements.
Okay, so basically what happened, legendary lore, as told by Joe. So Jay shows up back on Ravnica, goes up to Ral and just like, hey, we're planeswalkers. That is correct. Gonna find out we're planeswalkers. Is that bad? That's bad. Okay, let's go make sure. Who's the other planeswalker? And they meet Gideon. Gideon's just like, hello, I am Planeswalker. What are you doing? Trying to prevent a war. War's about Planeswalkers. We're going to make sure they don't know about Planeswalkers. You decide to accomplish that by Planeswalking here. Huh.
The War of the Spark is nowhere near happening yet, but I like your enthusiasm.
I wasn't referencing War of the Spark.
So, basically, while that's happening, the Gideon is telling Jace basically that the Hedrons have some kind of control over the Eldrazi spawns, and that the Hedrons are connected to the ley lines of Zendikar. And so, Gideon is recruiting Jace to help him fight against them. And so then, after that happens, Gideon's like, hold on, I have an old flame I need to go talk to. It's Chandra. He goes to Chandra and he's like, hey, it's me. He goes, hey, it's me, Gideon. How you doing?
Remember how we were best buddies? Chandra's just like, you mean how we slept together and then you tried to hunt me down and get me arrested?
Gideon's much too noble to sleep with anyone. Now, here's the thing. Gideon tries to get Chandra. Chandra does not agree with him, and they leave. They go and they meet Jorian, who is a friend of Gideon. Jorian and Jace then go and they start trying to find these ancient artifacts. And
isn't he the blue-red guy?
Yes, she is. So, she...
Jorian's female?
Yes. Jorian is female. So basically, Jace and Jorian, they go to the Eye of Ugin because they're like, well, we might as well go over there. I can't planeswalk over there because I don't have a good bead on it. Zendikar moves so much that you can't really move properly. He can get to Z-Gate just fine because he knows where Z-Gate is and he has a general idea. Very stable. The Eye of Ugin is often. Yeah. So basically, they get there. They're doing their whole thing. They meet the Eternal Pilgrims. The Eternal Pilgrims only appear for a short amount of time, but they're basically doomsday cultists. They're people that still worship the Eldrazi as gods and believe that they are their perfection. They're a perfect oblivion kind of deal. And so that's what's happening with they get past them. They have to worry about Ulamog because Ulamog is the only Eldrazi here. They're not seeing any Kozilek. They're seeing sparing Kozilek brood. They see no of Emrakul's brood because the Emrakul went off somewhere else, and Ulamog brood is everywhere. Ulamog is the one destroying Zendikar. Okay, make sense? So
how does Jace remember all the Eldrazi?
What do you mean?
I thought he wiped his memory of them.
That was not in the 6 month span.
Oh.
It was more just that he didn't think it was going to be that big of a problem when he did it.
Oh.
And now that it's a huge problem, that's why he's actually trying to do what he can to fix it, to deal with it. And Chandra, and she is also she needs to develop as a character as well. And so she was still kind of like, yeah, I don't want to deal with it. I have my own stuff that I'm doing. And so eventually Jace and Jorian they like along the way, they're almost there, and they realize that Ulamog is heading for Seagate. Ulamog is going to destroy Seagate and eat everyone that's there. It's like the last bastion of hope on the entire plane. It's going to get annihilated. Right? So,
Correct.
Jace is like, okay, Jorian, I need your help. Listen to me very carefully. Go back to Seagate. Tell everyone what's happening. I'll go to the Eye of Ugin and I'll try to figure out what's going on. She's like, let's do it. And so Jace continues it on to Akum. Jory goes back to everybody else. Akum! And so while he's there, there's like, imagine you go into a cave, Joe. A cave that you've already been in, that you wrecked, right? And there's a lot of nice trinkets all over the place. And when you go in there, you see a dragon that is ginormous and is trying to fix the cave.
Dragon.
Jace sees Ugin. And he's like, hi. And so Ugin basically sits down Jace and is like, look, the reason this was created was because me and 2 other planeswalkers, we did our job and we wanted to lock these things away because they are incredibly dangerous. At the same time, they seem to be so powerful that they're probably really important to the ecosystem of the entire multiverse, which is why we captured them instead of killing them. And Jace is like, so you're saying we can kill them? He's like, I didn't say that. I said capture them because they can't be running around, but we can't get rid of them. He goes, but what if we could? And Ugin's like, listen to me, you small-minded human. Do not kill the Eldrazi. And Jason's like, got it. Get rid of the Eldrazi.
Like, all I heard was kill and Eldrazi.
And so while that's happening, you got Jace goes and he you have Gideon, Kiora, and Nisa who all have their own things going on. And then Jace is there. He gets the Hedrons activated. They're going to get Ulamog. Ulamog is trapped. Everything is going great. They're super excited. Gideon's like literally just wrestling Ulamog because he's on like this little outcropping of like stone, and he's on top of it, and he's just like pushing back against Ulamog, and it's like he's invincible. Remember, he's got the indestructibility. And so Gideon's there. Jace is getting the thing to line up. Nisa's helping him to get the ley lines right. Kiora's got her beasts holding the brood at bay. Not her beasts, her krakens and sea beasts and all that stuff. But the point is, they're all working together. It's all going great. And guess what happens?
Yorgi Schmorgi.
Ob Nixilis. He's like, what up? And he destroys the Lime Hedron network, and Ulamog is released. It's bad. And not only that, because guess who he brought with him?
Is it me?
It was Kozilek.
Oh.
Yeah. So Kozilek Kozilek is summoned out of the crust of the earth. He comes out in his bismuth glory, and his brood is now everywhere as well. So they have double the Eldrazi to deal with, double the Titans, and they also have a demonic planeswalker. Chandra's there, and she's like, I came to help. And he's like, well, it's too late now. We could have used your help before a giant demon showed up with another eldritch horror. But thanks a lot.
She's like, but I brought fire.
Also, the reason that Ob Nixilis is there, he had followed Nisa from Bala Ged, which was a completely eradicated continent as well. So, all that happens. Ob Nixilis had reignited his spark thanks to stealing all the energy
from the real bane of Bala Ged was Ob Nixilis.
That is not correct, because he left to get Bala Ged after, because it was already dead. What's more important?
I guess the real bane of Bala Ged was Nisa.
Ob Nixilis defeats everyone. He gets Gideon, Jace, and Nisa, puts them into this little torture chamber thing, and he's gonna just like torture them until they just die. And then Chandra shows up, and she's like, nope, and she just blasts the whole thing with the whole place with fire. The 3 planeswalkers are freed. All 4 of them work together in concert to defeat Ob Nixilis. Ob Nixilis runs away because that's what planeswalkers do. And it's at that point that they decide, I will take watch. I will take the oath.
I guess
so-
the real Bane of Balaged was Chandra. Chandra being the Bane, and
Sure.
Nixilis being the Balaged.
Jace says, for the sake of the multiverse,
Jace
I
being the of.
will keep watch. And so the Gatewatch is formed at this point. It's pretty cool. And they decide the first thing they need to do is get rid of Kozilek and Ulma. No big deal.
The Banes of
Super
Balaged.
easy. No problems. None at all. Gonna work. And so what happens is that Gideon keeps them away. Kiora clears out the swarms as well. And Nisa works with Jace to create a leyline pattern that is able to bind Ulamog and Kozilek and pull them from the blind eternities into a full physical form, which is the most epic thing that happens, because when they do it, they consume the sky and the earth, and it's like they're inside. The artwork doesn't do it justice. It's like this insane Lovecraftian landscape, and Chandra then uses the once again they channel Fireball basically and annihilate the two eldrazi and reduce them to nothingness. And then the little bits and bobs of eldrazi, they run away as they go
I'm
to
just
die.
imagining Kiora. I know this is probably not the case, but I know she's probably in this for her own stuff. But I just imagine them like pledging their oaths as the Gatewatch. Just, I will keep watch. I will keep watch. And then after all four of them do it, just like, I will. Oh well, if nobody else wants to, okay. I didn't want to keep watch anyway. It's cool.
So
Right over
yeah,
here.
Kiora ditches them because she doesn't want to be part of some police force, basically. Ulama and Kozilek are incinerated, and Ugin's like, "You goons! Why did you do the thing I said specifically not to do? Not once, but twice! You
Jace,
killed
like,
two
you
of them."
literally told us to kill them.
They chose it
Gideon's
up.
like, yeah, I heard you say to kill them.
But yeah,
Chandra's just like,
Ugin's-
Emperor stuff.
Ugin is very upset, and he's like, "We have no idea what you've done. I just know it's not going to be good." Fun fact, nothing of consequence has happened the entire time since that little plot line has been dropped. I feel like that needs to be a thing. Nothing happened on Zendikar that was related to that. I am deeply upset by that particular fact because it's a great story idea because it gives consequences to the actions of the heroes, but no. Nothing like that has come to fruition in any way.
Maybe they're gonna tie that to Phyrexians. Maybe that's how Vorinclex got on Caltane.
It's more likely Tezra made a plate of bridge, but that's nothing entirely. But that is the story of Zendikar.
I
It
guess
is also
the real Bane of Balaged was the story. The story being the Bane. The Zendikar being Balaged. Of being of.
You are Frowny Biscuit. That was completely uncalled for. Nobody cared who I was till I put on the mask. And then they asked me to leave the Circle K when I took it off. Started sneezing on everyone.
Anyway, if you guys like that, let us know in the comments. If you want to know why Ugin's alive, let us know in the comments. We'd be more than happy to go into that. You don't think that's a missing link? Just like, Ugin's here.
Well, then nobody would know that Ugin was dead at this point.
Then why was his eye there?
I'm gonna punch you in the eye. In the pinky.
You're gonna release the Eldrazi's.
Hey, that's cool with me. That's one more thing to worry about.
He goes, here's how we end 2020.
Yeah, I was gonna say 2021 is actually just the sequel to 2020. How would that be? How terrible would that be?
Anyway, but yeah, we'll see you guys next time. Bye, guys.
We're gonna find what happened to Emrakul.
I guess the real Bane of Balaged